Are we live? It looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pop Culture Asylum. I'm your host, Gabriel. I hope everyone is I had a great day today. I definitely did. I hope everyone that's watching this video is having a great day as well. AEW was tonight. AEW Blood and Guts. As you know, this was the main event of tonight's show was between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle in a Blood and Guts / War Games match. And did it deliver? In my opinion, yes. This was an incredible matchup between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. Like, I enjoyed the matchup. The matchup was brutal. The matchup was great. And I seen a lot of people on social media saying that they didn't particularly like the ending, and some people saying that the ending was a letdown. I can see where they're coming from. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I see what AEW was doing with the ending. I just wish that they didn't make it so obvious. Well, I'm gonna go into more detail about it when I get to the main event. But how was the whole show in general? Well, in my opinion, I'm gonna have to say that this was one of the weakest AEW specials I ever seen. Now, not to say that this was a bad show, because it wasn't. I thought this was a very good, very decent show. But it wasn't really strong enough, you know what I mean? Like, I seen better like AEW specials like Winter's Coming and Beach Break. Like, there were good things in this show. Like, very good things. But there was other things where I was like, or like there was one match that I thought was extremely terrible in this match. Extremely. Like, I did not enjoy it at all. And that was Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. But I will get to that in a sec. Okay, in a sec. But without further ado, enough of me blabbering around. Let's get this review underway. So we start off the show with Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston going against Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa. So we start off the show, and Don Callis is in the ring saying like, "Oh, like Kenny Omega is not in the building, and you're just gonna face Michael Nakazawa by himself." So Moxley and Kingston takes the bait, but Kenny Omega attacks both Kingston and Moxley with the AEW World Championship, takes him down, and then for probably the majority of this match, Omega and Nakazawa actually had Moxley and Kingston's number. But things started to not go in Omega's and Nakazawa's favor. And basically, Nakazawa gets destroyed by Moxley and Kingston. And Kenny Omega just leaves and just abandons Michael Nakazawa. So there is that. Moxley and Kingston picks up the victory. But then all of a sudden, the Young Bucks comes out, distracting Moxley and Kingston. After that, Gallows and Anderson comes from behind and takes down Moxley and Kingston. Kenny Omega tugs out. And basically, the entire Bullet Club took down both Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston once again. Now, I thought this was a good match to start the show. Nothing too crazy. Like, I won't say like this is like an amazing way to start off the show. But like it was a good match. It did its job well. The match did its job well. The segment did its job well. Personally, I have no complaints about it. It's just like it wasn't like, whoa, this is exciting. Like, this is a great way to start the show. It's not a bad match and it's not a bad segment, but I feel like it was kind of a weak way to start the show. Personally, they should have started off with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match between SCU, Jurassic Express, Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaim, because that was a great match. That was a great match. Other than the Blood and Guts match, that was the only other matchup in that show that was a great match. Honestly, they should have started off with that match alone, but I digress. But yeah, a very decent start to start off the show. After that, it was announced that at Double or Nothing, Hikaru Shida will defend the AEW Women's Championship against Britt Baker. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm actually happy that AEW saved this for Double or Nothing. Okay. And honestly, all AEW has to do now is give the AEW Women's Championship to Britt Baker. Okay. The women's division have been improving a lot. Okay, they have been improving a lot. There's still a couple things that needs fixing here and there, but you cannot deny that there hasn't been any improvement from the AEW women's division. Hell, I may argue that the AEW women's division is one of the best parts of AEW right now. Okay, the women have been killing it. Okay, and personally, I am excited for Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker. And hopefully, and I know AEW will do this, and I hope they do. I hope AEW is not stupid enough. I hope and pray that AEW gives Britt Baker the AEW Women's Championship. Because if you guys have been watching my reviews, like I have been saying that Britt Baker needs to be AEW Women's Champion. Her, along with Thunder Rosa, has been carrying the AEW women's division for months. 4 months. Okay, Britt Baker was one of the best parts of AEW. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Hikaru Shida. And she had a very decent reign as champion. But I'm sorry. It's about time that we get a new champion. And what better way to do that than to give Britt Baker the AEW Women's Championship? Okay, like having Britt Baker as AEW Women's Champion can elevate the women's division even more because Britt Baker right now is that good. Okay, just saying. But yeah, I am really, really excited. And I'm definitely not the only one. Like the fans tonight. Like, can I just say something about the fans tonight? The fans were awesome. Were awesome. I'm just like I love the fans. The fans will always be an important part of a wrestling show. And this crowd really brought this show to life. This show may have not been perfect, but this crowd made it entertaining. Okay, this crowd made this show come to life. And even the crowd that was there, like when Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker was announced, people popped for it. People freaking popped for it. Okay, I'm extremely excited, and it's about damn time that they finally give the AEW Women's Championship to Britt Baker. I love you, Hikaru Shida. You're a good champion, but it's about time we need a new champion. Okay, and the only candidate that is perfect for that is Britt Baker. Just saying. Okay. Now let's talk about probably the most hated matchup of the I hate this match. I hated this match. The matchup I am talking about is Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. I'm going to tell you my reasons why. Number one, okay, there was multiple times where this matchup should have ended in a DQ. In a DQ. It should have ended right then and there in a DQ. If the referees knew how to do their damn jobs, okay, this match would have been over in like 2 minutes. In the first 2 minutes, like Cody Rhodes is about to use his belt as a weapon, the referee confiscates it, and QT Marshall, who was also wearing a belt, use it as a weapon on Cody Rhodes. yet QT Marshall doesn't get disqualified. Are you shitting me? And to make matters worse, like a few minutes after that matchup, QT Marshall pushes Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson literally attacked QT Marshall. That point right there should have ended in a disqualification, but it didn't. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Like, two major blatant times where this matchup should have ended in a disqualification. Okay, yeah, if you guys have seen my reviews, you know that I despise these referees. Okay, and usually, even though they do a terrible job, they don't ruin the flow of most AEW matches. But this is an exception. Okay, just the referee's job in general in this matchup kind of ruined the match for me a little bit. But it gets even worse. So Cody Rhodes does the crossroads, which is one of his big finishers on QT Marshall. Did it end the match? No. QT Marshall, of all people, kicked out of the crossroads. I will repeat myself again. QT Marshall kicked out of Cody Rhodes' ultimate finishing maneuver, the crossroads. Are you fucking kidding me? A lot of people barely kicked out or never kicks out the crossroads. Yet QT Marshall, of all people, is one of those few people that gets to kick out. How the fuck does that make any sense? Look, AEW, I love you. I think you're a good company. But when you do shit like this, I'm sorry, I can't defend this. That was just a dumb fucking move. Why would you let QT Marshall, of all people, to kick out of Cody Rhodes' crossroads? You know what you did to Cody Rhodes' crossroads after doing that shit tonight? You just ruined some of the importance of the crossroads. Now people are not going to take that move seriously. What the fuck? How does that make any sense? QT Marshall, of all people, to kick out the crossroads. Unfucking believable. But Cody Rhodes did a figure four, taking out QT Marshall. Cody Rhodes wins. This was a terrible match. I'm sorry. This was a terrible match. And just the referee doing his horrible job, plus QT Marshall kicking out of the crossroad, did not help this match at all. I did not enjoy this matchup at all. And the fact that you made QT Marshall kick out the crossroads, whoever Collins was, Tony Khan's, Cody Rhodes's, somebody who's in charge of booking, terrible call. Terrible, terrible call. You just ruined some of the importance of Cody Rhodes' finishing maneuver. Now people are not going to take the crossroad finishing maneuver seriously because you let QT Marshall, of all people, kick out of that maneuver. Why? Why? What? What? Wouldn't it just make sense to do the rest of the matchup and do Cody Rhodes attempting to do a crossroads, QT Marshall reverses, and Cody Rhodes doesn't even do it at all, and just you could have just done the rest of the matchup without that kick out of that crossroads. You could have done this entire match without that specific spot. But I'm sorry, that spot alone ruined that matchup for me. A guy like QT Marshall shouldn't kick out of the Crossroads or any major finisher because that is just fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, I can't defend that. That pisses me off. Okay? Whoever called that was for QT Marshall to kick out the Crossroad, terrible call. Big mistake. Unbelievable. I was not a fan of that at all. Terrible matchup. But after that, Anthony Ogogo, a part of the factory, attacked Cody Rhodes after the match and did like a little hit and run and punched him in the gut, taking down Cody Rhodes. And it looks like they're doing Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing. And honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind. Like personally, I don't really care about this storyline between the factory and the Nightmare family in the first place. It's just not a strong storyline. Personally, it's not even a necessary storyline. It's not even necessary. Like I understand why QT Marshall and some of these people want to get away from the Nightmare family and don't want to be like obscure. But they should do like this Anthony Ogogo match and Cody Rhodes, like Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes match on like an AEW Dynamite. Because I don't think it's like a match worthy for Double or Nothing. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't care about this rivalry at all. And we haven't even seen much from Anthony Ogogo besides from one squash match. Yeah, he can knock people out. Okay. But that's him on the short term. What can he do on the long term? Okay. Like, don't get me wrong, Anthony Ogogo shows promise. Like he looks like a star. He looks like a star. But you can only talk the talk for so long. Eventually, you're gonna have to walk the walk. And so, like, other than like, I haven't really seen anything in ring wise for Anthony Ogogo. So hopefully he delivers on his matchup against Cody Rhodes. After that, we get an interview with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Of course, for the last couple of weeks, I can't speak tonight. Sky and Page been basically making Darby Allin's things life a living hell. Of course, last week, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page even took out Sting's ankle. So that's why Sting wasn't even here tonight. But Darby Allin then came, and Darby Allin attacked both Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. So, like, they attack, a brawl happens on top of the rafters. Like, they were literally on top of the stage. Like, they were, like, on the very top of the stadium. They were, like, fighting. Like, they weren't at, like, the roof of the stadium or anything because that would just be way too fucking crazy. But then again, Darby Allin is crazy, but I digress. But yeah, they fight on top of like the balcony, like which is the highest part of the stadium with the seats, with the highest, like you know what I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So they brawl, and Sky. It was just the numbers game was too much. Darby Allin didn't had a chance, and this part was awesome because I am a sick fuck. But this was also a scary, scary spot because Darby Allin is also a sick fuck. So literally, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page legit throws Darby Allin off the stairs, and Darby Allin landed hard. Like there is no padding, nothing. Like they legit threw Darby Allin off the stairs. Like it was legit. Like Darby Allin looked actually hurt. And again, Darby Allin is a sick fuck. Let me tell you. Oh my god. So again, I thought this was awesome. I thought this was awesome because again, I'm a sick fuck and I am a sucker for hardcore wrestling. But I was also kind of scared because there is like no padding, like nothing at all. Like they just did this all in one take. And I didn't want Darby Allin to get hurt or worse, possibly get paralyzed or injured or possibly die from this. Okay, obviously Darby Allin is okay, but we don't know if he's really injured or not. Like after that spot, I'm surprised. I would be surprised if Darby Allin like is not injured. Like if you know what I mean, but yeah. Darby Allin is a sick fuck, and that's why he is one of my favorites currently. That's why he's one of my favorites currently. I love Darby Allin for being a sick fuck. I love Darby Allin. But yeah, I hope Darby Allin's okay. Crazy, crazy son. After that, Britt Baker was in action tonight against a woman named Julia Hart. Obviously, we know this was going to be a squash match. It was a good showing by Britt Baker, nothing too crazy. Britt Baker actually picks up the victory over this Julia Hart woman, and nothing too crazy. It's just Britt Baker making her statement against Julia Hart. So there's that. After that, we get, other than the blood and guts match, which in my personal opinion, despite the commercials, was match of the night in my opinion. But this was also a great match. It's SCU versus Jurassic Express versus the Varsity Blondes versus the Acclaimed. And first of all, can I just say, I fucking love the Acclaimed. I love the Acclaimed. Okay, Max Caster is insane on the mic. Like he had some insane bar. The shit he said tonight was insane. Like Max Caster, I think he said something about Brian Pillman Jr. and like said like in a couple years he's gonna be like in the dark side of the ring. And like, bro, Max Caster has no chill at all. Holy shit. Like that was entertaining. And this match was great. I really enjoyed this matchup. Like, of course, if you guys watch my review last week on AEW Dynamite, I was kind of confused on why they didn't just automatically give SCU the matchup against the Young Bucks because they're already the number one tag team in AEW. And it really makes the ranking system feel much more pointless. Like, what's the point of the ranking system if you're not going to give the number one tag team an automatic shot at the AEW tag team titles? Like, they're already a number one tag team in AEW. Why do you have to make them do a number one contenders match? Like SCU is already the number one tag team in AEW, number one contenders for 9 weeks. So I don't understand why AEW decided to put SCU in the number one contenders match. But I digress. Just a small nitpick. But yeah, SCU picks up the win in this amazing matchup. And of course, next week we're gonna get the Young Bucks defending the AEW Tag Team Championship against SCU next week. And of course, if SCU loses, they will split up as a tag team. So it's basically like this Ric Flair situation where if SCU loses, like they're not a tag team anymore. Like they quit as a tag team. Like they're split up forever. Okay. But here's the thing. I'm kind of not a fan of AEW doing SCU versus the Young Bucks next week. I feel like, okay, here's what AEW should have done, in my opinion. Moxley versus Kingston versus SCU versus the Young Bucks. Okay, because, like, of course, Moxley and Kingston and the Young Bucks, there's already history there. Of course, the club has been making Moxley and Kingston's life a living hell. But considering that this might be the last time we see SCU as a tag team, shouldn't like go out with a swan song on pay-per-view? Like I feel like because obviously SCU is gonna lose next week to the Young Bucks. Okay, that's obvious. But I feel like they should have done SCU's swan song add Double or Nothing. They should have done Young Bucks versus Moxley versus Kingston versus SCU. That would have been an amazing matchup in and of itself. Okay, giving SCU a proper swan song and you can give an excuse of giving the Young Bucks to win. So that way, at what's the next pay per view? All Out. You can do like a proper build up to the Young Bucks versus Moxley versus Kingston in a regular 2-on-2 tag team match for the tag team titles. Like, I don't mind waiting that long. Okay, I think it would be good long-term storytelling, but I feel like they should have done that. Young Bucks versus Moxley versus Kingston versus SCU. Again, giving SCU a proper swan song because again, AEW, I mean, SCU is not going to win next week. We all going to know that. And if SCU loses, like they would split up as a tag team, like they would be done. Okay, so at least give them a swan song at Double or Nothing. Like it would give SEU a proper swan song. Okay, and it would save up that one-on-one Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston matchup for All Out. Because yeah, like here's the thing about the Young Bucks' reign. I'm not saying that the Young Bucks' reign is bad. But I feel like I don't know. It has been a bit underwhelming, probably because like the Young Bucks haven't faced that many tag teams. Like who have they faced? Like the Acclaim, the Hybrid Two, and the Seidel brothers. Those are the tag teams that I can come up in my head. Oh, and Top Flight. That's it. Just a bunch of small matches. Just a bunch of small matches. Like ever since the Young Bucks won the AEW tag team titles, like we haven't seen that many like big I don't know. It's just I feel like they should the I feel like the Young Bucks should hold the titles just a little bit longer. Like again. Like like if the Young Bucks lose the titles at Double or Nothing to John Moxley and Eddie Kingston, I wouldn't mind it. As a matter of fact, I would love having Moxley and Kingston as AEW tag team champions. Because again, the chemistry between those two is amazing. It's awesome. Like literally, Moxley and Kingston unofficially is one of my favorite tag teams currently. I just love the chemistry. Like I'm literally wearing an Eddie Kingston shirt. Okay. It really goes to show how much I'm a fan of these two being together. Well, obviously, like this is not much, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Moxley and Kingston. But I feel like the Young Bucks should hold the titles just a little bit longer, at least until All Out. And a way to solve this is they should have done Young Bucks versus SCU versus Moxley and Kingston because again, great a swan song for SCU because again, if SCU loses a match, like they're done as a tag team, and we all know SCU is not going to win next week. So instead of like doing, I don't know, they should have done a triple threat match in my opinion. I still think it's going to be a great match next week between the Young Bucks and SCU, but I feel like SCU should have had like a better swan song. Like literally Double or Nothing. It's going to have a full crowd. Like I feel like they should have a swan song in front of in front of a full crowd. Okay. And by the way, I actually got news on that. And I'm gonna go over the news real quick after I'm done making this after I'm done giving my thoughts and opinions on tonight's show. But yeah, that's basically all I gotta say. SCU wins, and SCU their last stand next week against the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. After that, we get a vignette of John Moxley. Of course, next week, Moxley is defending the IWGP United States Championship against Yuji Nagata, Blue Justice. So yeah, definitely excited for that one next week. A New Japan Pro Wrestling style matchup. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a good match. Like with Yuji Nagata, you're probably wondering, for the people that don't watch AEW, is Yuji Nagata good? Well, I won't say he's like one of the greatest or like he's incredible in the ring, but he's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler. Like I won't say like he's a great wrestler. Like considering like he's kind of old, so like Yuji Nagata is kind of on his last legs. But I feel like Yuji Nagata still put up good matches from time to time. And of course, so for the people that are curious about Yuji Nagata, like I won't say don't give your hopes up. Just because he's a New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar doesn't mean like he's a great talent. Okay? Yuji Nagata, he's a good wrestler. He's not a great wrestler like Okada, Tanahashi, White, Naito, like a Bushi. Okay, he's not Osprey. Like he's not at the caliber as those guys are currently. But I think he still puts up good matches from time to time. He's a good wrestler, and I think it's going to be a good matchup between next week against Moxley and Yuji Nagata. But I do recommend do not give your hopes up. Okay, just because he's a New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar, again, I'm telling you, do not get your hopes up. Okay, I still think this is going to be a good match, and I'm not saying that you should have low expectations, but don't have high expectations either. Okay, just saying. But yeah, I think Yuji Nagata is a good enough wrestler, and I think it's going to be a good matchup next week against Moxley and Nagata. So after that, we get a special announcement. Not really that special. It's like so Kenny Omega comes out, and it was announced by Tony Schiavone that next week Orange Cassidy and Pac will face each other one-on-one, and the winner will face Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at Double or Nothing. So, and then Orange Cassidy comes out. Kenny Omega basically just laughs at him, basically, like, tells Orange Cassidy that he's like a joke and stuff like that. And, like, basically, Kenny Omega is he's underestimating Orange Cassidy. So, after what we just saw, like, with Kenny Omega underestimating Orange Cassidy, I feel like they're going to do Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy. Like Kenny Omega, sorry. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. But like here's the thing. Kenny Omega, right? Like and during this segment, like he just verbally abuses Orange Cassidy and underestimates Orange Cassidy. And like Kenny Omega is not doing much of anything. And like, yeah, Kenny Omega is not doing much of anything. And like, I know some people are saying that AEW should do Kenny Omega versus Pac, but I feel like I don't know. Like, if AEW is going to do Kenny Omega versus Pac, they should save that for All Out. Okay, because here's the thing. Double or Nothing is literally 4 or 5 weeks away. Do you really think they have time to do Kenny Omega versus Pac to try to make it memorable? Okay, trust me. Like, they could do Kenny Omega versus Pac. Okay, they could do that for Double or Nothing, but it would just be an underwhelming buildup. Like, Kenny Omega and Pac has a lot of history. A lot of history. Okay, and if you're going to do Kenny Omega versus Pac for the AEW World Championship, it should have a proper build-up. Okay, so like personally, in my opinion, Orange Cassidy winning next week against Pac would be the right call in my opinion. Because Kenny Omega's not doing much of anything. Orange Cassidy is not doing much of anything. And Orange Cassidy is undefeated, and Kenny Omega is underestimating Orange Cassidy. Okay, it's a simple underdog story. Obviously, Orange Cassidy is not going to win the AEW World Championship, but again, Omega's not doing anything. Cassidy's not doing anything. Cassidy is undefeated at AEW right now. So, yeah, figure why not? Okay, I think it would be perfect because I feel like Kenny Omega hasn't I feel like AEW hasn't give Kenny Omega a rival to work with for Double or Nothing till now. Okay. And again, I know you people want Kenny Omega versus Pac. Okay, but it's just way too soon. Okay, and Omega versus Pac deserves a better build up. It deserves a better build up. Okay, save Omega versus Pac for All Out. Okay, and so that way, and give us a proper long build up to their All Out matchup between Omega and Pac. Okay, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you people want Omega versus Pac for Double or Nothing, but again, it's way too late. And Omega and Pac, considering that they have a lot of history with each other in AEW, they need a proper build-up, a proper long build-up. And considering that Double or Nothing is literally 4 weeks away, 4 or 5 weeks away, it's like I feel I want I want Kenny Omega and Pac to have a proper long build-up. Okay, save it for All Out. Okay, I think Omega and Cassidy is perfect for Double or Nothing because again, Omega has nothing to do. Orange Cassidy has nothing to do with Double or Nothing. Orange Cassidy has been undefeated. Kenny Omega underestimates Orange Cassidy. It's a simple underdog story. Okay, and again, Cassidy is not going to win the AEW World Championship, but it'll be one of those things where Orange Cassidy will prove everyone wrong. And plus, I think it would be very interesting. Like, what would the lengths that Orange Cassidy will go to become AEW World Champion? I actually kind of want to see that. Like, what would the lengths Orange Cassidy would go to become AEW World Champion? I actually want to see that. So, yeah, they should save Omega versus Pac for All Out. They should save that for All Out. And again, Omega and Cassidy at Double or Nothing would be the right call, in my opinion. But there is that. And one small thing, real quick, before I continue on with this review. 45 minutes ago, when this show was happening, Michael Nakazawa got his ass kicked by Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Yeah, he comes out with Kenny Omega all perfectly fine. Like, you couldn't at least sell getting hurt. Like, 45 minutes ago, you just got your ass kicked. Like, this is not AEW is not a 3-hour show. Thank God. But considering that you just got your ass kicked about 45 minutes ago, you should be selling like you got your ass kicked. Okay. And the fact that Nakazawa was perfectly okay, I was not a fan of that. But again, just a small thing. Like, nobody cares about Michael Nakazawa anyway, so yeah. So after that, before we get to the main event, we got Miro coming out. And Miro calls out Darby Allin. And it has been announced for next week that Darby Allin will defend the TNT Championship against Miro. And here's the thing. I am excited for it, don't get me wrong. And I feel like they should have saved this for Double or Nothing. But here's what I think AEW is doing. I feel like AEW is doing Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page at Double or Nothing. And considering that Darby Allin just got thrown like off the balcony steps, Darby Allin's not going to be 100%. Miro's going to take advantage because Miro's a monster. And honestly, considering that, I think Miro's going to win the TNT title next week. Honestly, I would be surprised if Darby Allin retains the TNT title. Okay. Honestly, I think Miro would be a dominant TNT champion. Like, that's what I think AEW is doing. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what AEW is doing. I feel like Scorpio, considering that, again, Darby Allin got thrown off the balcony steps by Scorpio Sky Ethan Page. Like, they literally try to kill Darby Allin. Okay, like, we're definitely going to see a tag team matchup at Double or Nothing with Darby Allin and Sting versus Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page at Double or Nothing. But I feel like Darby Allin is going to lose the TNT title to Miro, which, to be perfectly honest, I would definitely be fine with. Okay? Now, I get it. Miro had a rough start, but to be honest, like, I think, I don't know, because I feel like they're kind of doing this too soon. Like, if on one hand, like, there's not really that much contenders for Darby. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Because, yes, Miro would be the perfect guy to take the title off of Darby Allin. Okay, if you guys have seen my reviews, I've been advocating for Miro to be the person to dethrone Darby Allin. But I feel like you're taking the title off of Darby Allin too soon, in my opinion. I feel like Darby Allin should have held it just a little bit longer, only to lose it to Miro at All Out. Okay, I think All Out would have been it for Darby Allin as TNT champion. I feel like they're doing Darby Allin versus Miro way too soon. Now, would I be happy that Miro wins the title? Hell yeah. Miro deserves it. And I think Miro will make that title great. But would I be mad if Darby Allin wins? No. Because again, like, it's, in my personal opinion, it's still way too early to take the title off of Darby Allin. Okay. And I feel like this matchup came out of nowhere. Like, it literally came out of left field. Okay. Like they just said, "Oh, I'm challenging you next week," and that's it. Like, shouldn't you do a build up at least? Like, Miro just got off of a tag team, a horrible tag team with Kip Sabian. Okay, I feel like they're doing this way too early. Way too early. They should definitely save Darby Allin versus Miro at All Out and give a proper build up between Darby Allin and Miro for the TNT title. Okay, I just think it's too early to do this matchup, and it's too early to take the title off of Darby Allin. Like, have Darby Allin retain. Like, I don't know. It's a weird situation. Like, honestly, I would have Darby Allin retain next. I don't know. It's a weird situation. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section about this whole Darby Allin Miro situation. Like, again, it's way too soon to do Darby Allin versus Miro because, again, Miro is the perfect man to take the title off of Darby Allin. But you're doing this way too soon. Save it for All Out. Okay? You know, I talked all this crap about WWE being impatient, but AEW, man, you're being impatient yourself, to be honest. You're being impatient yourself. Like, I could be kind of harsh on the situation. But again, I feel like this matchup is way too soon. They should probably save it. They should have saved it for All Out when the matchup already had a proper build up, and then Miro finally takes the title off of Darby Allin. Okay, it's way too soon to do this, in my opinion. It's way too soon. But those are my thoughts on that. Now we get to our main event of the evening: Blood and Guts. The Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. And whoo! As a hardcore wrestling fan, this matchup rocks. Okay? This was a War Games. This matchup reminded me of the War Games in the 80s. Now, like some people are gonna say that the NXT War Games matches are better, which if you think the NXT War Game matches are better, I understand. Like like trust me, there has been really good NXT War Games matches. Okay. And if you think they're better than what we saw tonight, then you're entitled to your own opinion. But like personally, the way AEW done it, this felt more like a War Games match than what NXT does with War Games. Not saying that the way NXT does War Games is bad, but I feel like AEW has done it better because here's the thing about War Games. Okay, it's supposed to be a bloody, violent war. Okay, there's no time for flashy stuff. Okay, it's about literally two teams beating the absolute shit out of each other. Okay, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. There's a lot of blood. Both teams absolutely beat the living shit out of each other. And I enjoyed this matchup. This was a great match. This was a really great matchup. And honestly, I'm gonna discuss the ending real quick because I think we can all agree that the matchup was great. Okay, the matchup was amazing. But I want to talk about the ending. A lot of people either it's underwhelmed with the ending or hate the ending. And honestly, I think it's completely justified to have that opinion. Because, okay, here's the thing. I understand what AEW was trying to do. And the way MJF telling the Inner Circle he was about to throw Chris Jericho off the stage. And literally saying to the Inner Circle, surrender or I will throw Jericho off the stage. So it makes sense. So for all the people in the IWC saying that this ending doesn't make any sense, how does it not make any sense? Literally MJF used Chris Jericho as a pawn to win the matchup. Which, by the way, the Pinnacle won this matchup, which was a great call. Great call. I am happy that AEW gave the Pinnacle the win because here's the thing. The Inner Circle is already an established faction. The Pinnacle, on the other hand, is a brand new faction. Okay, and the Pinnacle need this win more than the Inner Circle. So the fact that the Pinnacle won this matchup, great call. Okay, and the ending, here's the thing. First of all, for the people that say the ending doesn't make any sense, how does it not make any sense? MJF used Jericho as a pawn to win the matchup, okay? And MJF, as a dick as he is, throws Jericho off the stage. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense for MJF being a character because he's a dick. Okay, and it just makes sense for the overall matchup and just storyline. Okay, I don't understand some of the takes people are saying online, saying that the ending didn't make any sense. It made a lot of sense. Made a lot of sense. But I will say that the ending was a little bit underwhelming. And if you guys are underwhelmed by the ending, completely justified. Because here's the thing. Like MJF throwing Jericho off the stage, it didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother me at all. What bothered me is that Chris Jericho landed on cardboard. So literally the stage, like the steel stage, was disguised like as steel, where in reality it was cardboard. Now, I'm not a sick fuck saying like, oh, Chris Jericho should have landed on the steel, because that is just insane. Okay, I don't want Chris Jericho to die. Okay, but I feel like they should have made it way more obvious, because the way like Jericho landed, like it didn't feel impactful. Like it didn't look painful. Because again, Chris Jericho landed on cardboard. Like I get what AEW was trying to do, and I commend them for that. But I feel like they should have made it less obvious. You know what I mean? They should have made it less obvious. Like the fact, like you could have just used any other material. Like you could have just used any other material. Like honestly, like I don't know. Like for the people that are underwhelmed with the ending, I completely understand. I completely understand. The ending made sense. Okay, it's just the way that was executed was kind of underwhelming. Would I say that this was like a botch or as bad as like the Revolution's ending? No. Like it wasn't bad. Okay. Again, the ending made sense. Okay. But I feel like AEW should have made it less obvious. Because again, Jericho just landed on cardboard. Okay, the impact, the way Jericho fell, it didn't look impactful at all. Okay, but either way, all 10 of these men are gonna get time off, because again, hold on. Woo! Oh my god, allergies are starting to kick in. Holy shit. But yeah, like like either way, we're not going to see the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle for some time, because again, all 10 men went through hell. But again, the way Jericho fell like onto the steel, like I feel like they should have made it less obvious. Okay, because the cardboard was extremely obvious, and again, it just wasn't impactful. It didn't look painful. Like when MJF threw Jericho off, like I expected to cringe. Okay. And like Jericho landing extremely hard. But I didn't get that feeling, because again, Chris Jericho landed on cardboard. Okay, but it did end with MJF like celebrating, like laughing, and AEW actually did some great shots on MJF. So overall, I thought this was a great match. The only thing that made it a bit underwhelming, like this was a great match, don't get me wrong, but the commercials. Oh my god. It was a big mistake not making this show commercial free. They should have made this show commercial free, because the commercials in this matchup were so annoying. So annoying. Like, I wanted to enjoy this matchup, and this matchup, I was enjoying it. But again, like, I didn't enjoy it all the way through because of the fucking commercials. Now, this is AEW's fault? No. But personally, AEW should not do a War Games or Blood and Guts match on TV again. if you're not going to make it commercial free. Okay, the only time I would accept a War Games match being on TV is that it becomes commercial free. Like the entire show, it's commercial free, or at least in that specific matchup alone, being commercial free, because the commercials kind of ruined the matchup, kind of ruined the flow of the matchup a little bit. Okay, I wanted to see this matchup, I wanted to see all of it. Okay, I got to see most of it, and most of what I saw was fucking amazing. But again, like the commercials fucking ruined it. Okay, this was a great match. This is still a great match, and I commend all 10 men. But AEW, hear me out. Do it on pay-per-view. Just if you're gonna do a blood and guts match, do it on pay-per-view on for now on. And if you want to do it on TV, make it commercial free. Make it commercial free. Because again, the commercial kind of ruined the flow of the matchup a little bit. Okay, it ruined the flow of the matchup a little bit. And yeah, it was a great match. Personally, they should have saved it for Double or Nothing, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, the commercials kind of ruined the flow of the match. I enjoyed this matchup. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this match, but the commercials, man, they were so fucking annoying. So again, AEW, do blood and I want you to do more blood and guts match, but do it on pay-per-view. Or if you're gonna do it on TV, okay, make it commercial free. Capiche? Capiche. But overall, I thought this was a decent show, a good show. I will say, this is the weakest AEW special show I have seen so far. I've seen stronger AEW specials. Again, Winter is Coming, like Beach Break, the 30-year anniversary of Jericho. I've seen better AEW specials. And with this special tonight, AEW Blood and Guts, it was kind of a weak AEW special. It was a good show. It was a good show, don't get me wrong. Okay, but I feel like this was probably the weakest AEW special thus far, in my opinion. But just because I think this was a weak AEW special does not mean that it was a bad show. Other than Cody versus QT Marshall, that I thought was fucking terrible. Everything else was good. And the blood and guts match definitely delivers. It definitely delivers, in my opinion. So there is that. So before I go, I actually got some news real quick about Daniel Bryan's WWE contract and AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view having a full crowd. Now, if you guys want to read these articles, of course, I'm reading this off of Wrestling Inc. If you guys want to read the articles, the links are in the description for the articles in case you want to read them. But first, I want to quickly talk about Daniel Bryan's WWE contract. So apparently, his contract is expired. It's done. Technically, Bryan is a free agent right now. And here's what Wrestling Inc. has to say. Daniel Bryan's WWE contract reportedly expired last week, or was set to expire last week. As we noted, Bryan lost the big career versus title match to WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns on Friday SmackDown, and per the stipulation, he is now banned from the Blue brand. Bryan was quickly moved to the WWE Alumni roster after the show. In an update, Fightful Select reports that multiple sources in and outside of WWE has indicated that Bryan's WWE contract either expired last week or was set to expire last week following the loss to Reigns. High-level sources noted that they had heard of the contract expiring, but that Bryan has not spoken openly about his contract status. At least that's what they were aware of. There has also been no talk of any particular farewells backstage at SmackDown, as if Bryan wasn't going to be around moving forward. But that doesn't necessarily mean that these farewell didn't happen privately. It should be noted that this does not mean Bryan is leaving WWE or hasn't resigned since last week, or that he won't work with WWE without being under contract. Bryan has been vocal about doing some unconventional work with WWE and for WWE, as he talked about in recent interviews. The only thing that was confirmed at this point by Fightful is that multiple people within WWE has heard that Bryan's deal was expiring last week. Bryan has talked about his WWE future and possibly transitioning into a part-time talent for a few months now in media interviews. He spoke with TV Line right before the match with Reigns and responded to reports that said that his WWE contract was expiring later this year. Here's what Bryan had to say. It's funny that people gravitate towards the date September. And I think it because that when my last contract ended, but it doesn't end in September, Bryan revealed. I'm still trying to figure out what it looks like. Bryan continued in an interview and talked about his future. I had a tag team on SmackDown recently, and it was a lot of fun, he said. But my neck was just wrecked. I'm going to be 40 in May, and my daughter likes to get on my shoulder to pick leaves from a Japanese maple in front of our house. You get to the point where I like, how long can I do this full time and still be able to do those kind of things with my daughter? Was the right balance between part time and that sort of thing? It may be that it's just every once in a while when the urge strikes, or maybe like a schedule where it's like 8 months in, these months off. One of the coolest things about wrestling and just being an independent contractor in general is that you can say, well, I really only want to do this amount of work. What the amount of work is, I have no idea yet. I still have to figure it out. But I also need to be respectful of the people who are relying on me to go to work. I have to give them an answer sooner rather than later. I'm trying to figure that out, trying to be responsible as an employee of somebody who has taken care of our family very well, but then also trying to take the time to figure it out. Stay tuned on more of Bryan's WWE status. He has not made any public comments since last Friday's loss to Reigns. Now, my thoughts on it real quick. Personally, I don't think Bryan, like, who knows, anything can happen. Personally, I don't think Bryan is going anywhere. Like, from what I heard, like, more than likely, he's going to be a part-timer. And who knows, he might even be a writer for SmackDown, which I would totally like because Bryan has been doing a great job with his work. But yeah, but it could be possible that Bryan may be leaving to another company. Like, and you're probably wondering, hey, Gabriel, if Bryan was leaving, what company do you think he should go to? In my personal opinion, either New Japan Pro Wrestling or AEW. And considering that Bryan doesn't want to leave like like the USA, like personally AEW Daniel Bryan's best bet. And just imagine Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan versus Pac, Daniel Bryan versus Hangman Adam Page, Daniel Bryan versus MJF. Honestly, I think Daniel Bryan would do really great stuff in AEW, but I feel like this is nothing too big right now. If Daniel Bryan does go to AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling or any promotion in general, then I will be shocked. But right now, this is like personally, I don't consider this as shocking. In my personal opinion, more than likely he's gonna stay with WWE. I think now it's just Daniel Bryan being a part timer. And I think he's gonna have more of a behind the scenes role than anything else. Okay, I don't think Daniel Bryan is leaving WWE, but who knows? Anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling. When it comes to professional wrestling, never say never. But yeah, personally, in my opinion, I think Daniel Bryan is staying in WWE, more than likely having like a behind the scenes type spot in WWE. But yeah, there's that. And also, real quick, I want to talk about AEW Double or Nothing, where they announced that they are going to have a full capacity crowd. And here's what Wrestling Inc. has to say on the matter. AEW is set to run the 2021 Double or Nothing pay-per-view from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, with 100% capacity. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan appeared on Busted Open Radio this morning and revealed that the pay-per-view scheduled for Sunday, May 30th would be held in Daly's Play with a full capacity crowd in attendance. AEW will make Double or Nothing a weekend event as there would be a non-televised show on Friday night, then a fan fest on Saturday. So, like, AEW is basically treating Double or Nothing as like WrestleMania, like the WrestleMania of AEW. And considering that Double or Nothing was the first ever pay-per-view for AEW, it makes sense. So there's that. But honestly, I think it's great to have full fans again. Now, this may be a little bit risky and a little bit controversial in a way, because again, we're still in a pandemic. But I feel like at this point, like, it's not as bad as it is in America. Not saying that the coronavirus is not still a thing, but like, I feel like it's not as bad in America anymore. That's just in my opinion. And not to mention the fact that a lot of people are getting vaccinated. Okay, so personally, I'm not mad. I'm not at this. Matter of fact, I'm extremely excited AEW is going to have a 100% capacity crowd. I'm excited for that. Like, the show, like Double or Nothing, it would just make the show way more special. But yeah, there's that. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the crowd, Daniel Bryan's contract, and of course, AEW Blood and Guts tonight. Now, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you guys think about tonight's show? Did you guys like tonight's show? Did you guys not like tonight's show? Was there something you like? Was there something you hate? And did you guys think that the Blood and Guts match delivered? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. But make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment. And my only rule in this channel is to not be assholes in the comment section. If you can disagree with me if you want. And matter of fact, I am open to all opinions. If you guys disagree with me, like, speak out in the comment section. Okay? Speak out. I'm open to all opinions. Okay? If you disagree with me and have a different take, speak out in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Okay? But my only rule is to not be assholes in the comment section. Okay? That's all I ask. But make sure you leave a like. If you guys like the video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment. And if you guys like the content that I made, make sure you subscribe and leave the notification bell and leave the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And until next time, this is Gabriel, and I'll see you next time in the asylum. Have a nice night, everyone.